We're going to visit with Scott McElmurray from Bank of Little Rock Mortgage, and he's going to talk about how student loan debt can impact your ability to buy a home. A lot of college students aren't thinking about that when they get those student loans, but he'll tell us how you should. Back in just a moment, we're going to find out about student loan debt and how it can affect your chances of securing a mortgage and buying a house. That's next.
From the station that's on your side, this is Channel 7 News Good Morning Arkansas.
9:21 is the time. Welcome back to Good Morning Arkansas. Scott McElmurray from Bank of Little Rock Mortgage is here, and we're talking about student loan debt, and this is something that's been in the news a lot. How it can impact your ability to buy a home. I'm sure you guys get questions all the time.
We do.
Scott,
Absolutely.
thanks for coming in as always this morning. We appreciate you stopping by explaining some of these things. So can it hurt anyone's chances of getting a mortgage?
Well, I mean, the student loan debt is like any other debt, right? We use it in calculating debt to income, and so the problem comes in when you have, there's a difference. You have, like, you go from deferred status to payment status, and so we'll see a lot of things where maybe sometimes the payment history is incorrect.
Okay.
And so it's really important if you have student loan debt to maybe pre-qualify first to see what's on your credit report. The other thing is payment-wise. Many times a credit report might show 0 if you're in deferred status, or there's some income-based repayment programs. Problem comes in when we qualify. If there's not a fully amortized payment for the student loan, we got to use 1% of the balance. That's usually double what the actual cost or monthly payment would be. So if you have $50,000 in student loan debt, that's $500 payment. Your payment might really only be $250. Well, that's about $30,000 to $40,000 of buying power that you lose because we have to use the higher amount.
Okay, and that can certainly hinder someone.
Absolutely.
You mentioned the 50. The average in Arkansas, by the way, according to a recent statistic, average student loan debt in this state is $26,859.
College is expensive,
and that's average. And of course, it could be even bigger if you attend a private university or other universities out there.
Or you go to med school, or you go to law school, something like that.
Yeah. Right. So how do they impact the mortgage payments? So you mentioned the deferred payment.
Right, you get the deferred situation. Okay. You have the qualification part of things. Yeah. And so it's really important to understand what your fully amortized payment is. And so we recommend people contact the student loan authority, right, and get what that would be.
Okay.
And then we need documentation so we could use that for their actual payment as opposed to using 1% of the amount. The other problem is that you don't usually get one big student loan. Right, you get one loan every year, and so you have 4 different loans. So the other thing that's really interesting is you can contact the student loan authority and just see what effect would it have if you were to consolidate all of those into one, because that could actually even further lower your payment, giving you more buying power as well.
That's good advice, and a lot of times you don't think about it.
I'm not saying that you absolutely want to do it, but you certainly want to see what the outcome would be if you're able to do that.
There are options available out there, and that's what you want to do.
Sure.
And how important is it to getting ahead of this and
very
talking
much
to you guys ahead of time before you get to that late stage, where you're ready to sign all the paperwork?
The worst thing you can do is go out and you find this house that you love, it's a dream home, and then all of a sudden you find out, wait a minute, either I've got an incorrect payment history, or it's not reporting the correct payment, and therefore I'm having to use a higher payment than I'm actually going to have to pay, and you don't get the house, and that's devastating.
Okay, so that's why it's important to contact them ahead of time. Okay, so what should they do as a potential home buyer? Students out there might not be thinking of that, but this is a pretty good time to maybe look at some investment opportunities whenever you graduate college. Some people like to buy houses and get that type of equity early on in their life. One of my best friends did that. What should they do if they have that student loan debt? Should they try to pay some of it off before getting the house?
Not necessarily, no. I never recommend anybody paying off debt before they at least look at things, because we can advise them on the best ways to kind of use any cash that they have, because obviously one of the biggest barriers for first-time home buyers is the down payment.
Sure.
And so you want to conserve that money to have it available. We can allow you to, or we can let you know, hey, if you utilize a portion of it to pay certain debt off, that's going to benefit you and you qualify. But if you go ahead and do that and you don't have the cash that you need for the down payment, then you're in a situation where you can't get it back.
I feel like you're spinning your wheels a little bit, right?
That's right.
Rates right now?
They're trending up.
Yeah.
We actually saw a little bit of a dip here lately, but they're certainly trending up, probably getting to the 5% range.
Oh, really? Okay. And
again, not a bad rate.
No, I mean,
historically.
Relative to 20 years ago.
That's right. Relative to 3 years ago, it's a little high.
That's true, yes. But still, a time that I know the housing market is pretty strong right now.
It is. It's actually weakening a little bit.
Oh, is it?
So really this time of year might be a good time to consider buying, because traditionally people don't buy toward the holidays. holidays. And so if you find that house where someone really needs to sell, you might be in a good position.
Okay, negotiations
That's
are,
right.
of course, on the table. And remind everybody about where you guys are located and how
we're
they
out
can
in West
contact
Little
you.
Rock, and of course we have offices throughout the state. They can get to our website, www.blrmortgage.com, or call us at 501-219-9100.
And when coming in to talk about getting a mortgage, what do they need to bring?
Really don't have to bring anything.
Okay.
You know, it's helpful if they bring income and documentation, all that, but really it's more consultative. We want to walk people through the process and certainly answer all of their questions first, and being informed is really important.
Okay. Well, thank you for informing us. As always, we appreciate you stopping by.